Imagery is one of the highest attributes of your mental capacity. They say God made man in the image of himself, which means we're all part of a grandeur, divine visual. A lot of the most important and significant breakthroughs have come through visualization or visualization techniques that come through meditation, that come through dreams or dreamlike states. It's always the I. But in order to get to the visuals and in order to create the clarity and that enriched pixelation of your vision, we've got to get beyond the language and above the thoughts. And even when we look at the order of anatomy through the symbolic, through the body, we see that the eyes are placed above the mouth, which means that eye faculty is a higher order, a higher seat or throne than that of the tongue. And we've got to remember that when we think, we're thinking through a language. And when we think, we've often got other programs of thoughts running in the background. So the key here is to silence the noise of the thoughts, of the language, and get into the crystal clear vision of what it is that we're trying to desire. One of the main powers of the practice is to focus on the clarity, is to kind of add strokes to the painting that you're visualizing in your mind. And that just means paying attention to the details. The more pixelated the vision, the more clearer the transmission when you're trying to manifest it or bring it into your reality. Because the more clearer that picture is, the realer it is to you. So there's a practice beyond that or behind that that is cancelling out anything that is distorting your picture or your vision. But the visualization, which is akin to the imagination, is the key. I only say visualization over imagination because of the connotation that we have with imagination sometimes, that it's not real or it's out of your realm of reality. Whereas visualization, you are creating it or bringing it within your reality for good purpose. To bear the fruit of your will, you must plant and rear the seed of your will or your desire. And that's the nature of things. So when we look to the nature, the blueprints of life, in order to harvest any particular fruits, there's a process, a transformational process to the creation or to the bloom. Yeah, a seed is to be planted. And where do we plant it? We plant it in the subterranean. We plant it beneath the soil, in the darkness. And in that space, that seed is nurtured. That seed is mineralized and cured by the soil of Mother Nature or the soul of Mother Nature. Yeah. And it's in that darkness, the hidden, beneath the veil of illusion, where the magic happens. Now, how does this correspond within us? Well, ideas, concepts, will, desire, they're all seeds, mental seeds, spiritual seeds. They too must be planted deep within. So where's the subterranean of the body? It's the subconscious. The subconscious must be penetrated. This is the all-knowing space that dwells within you, and we must plant that seed deep in that dwelling, as above, so below. So we will water it with the thoughts and the curation showers of the top conscience, the mind. But that seed must be planted very deep within. I often locate that space in the sacral area by the navel. the intuitive mind. That's the intuitive brain of the body. Yeah? So we get back to the correspondence, and that's where you want to really rear your seed. You want to concentrate that seed. Once you visualize the picture and it's clear, you want to go deep within yourself and plant that seed in that space of all knowing and all trusting. And then you want to use the top conscious mind to only think thoughts that nurture and mineralize that seed with nutrients. This is about preparing your space. This is the difference between planting your seed in fertile ground or planting your seed or just letting your seed fall on rocky ground. Yeah? A seed that falls on rocky ground or on a pathway, it doesn't have much capacity to take root and to be strong when it's growing. Whereas if you're planting in fertile ground, you can be more prosperous in your harvest, more sure of the fruits that are going to come to bear. So this is about the preparation. And in the meditation process of manifestation, it's an intuitive process. This is an internal process that we're going into. So we're going into the temple, and that's always been a sacred space, internally and externally. So what we want to do, we have to harmonize the vibrations within before we want to invest in manifestation potential. If we come straight out of the office with all of the noise and the kind of programs of the boss and the colleagues and, you know, your argument from last night, and you're going straight into an attempting manifestation space, all of those programs are going to be running in the background subconsciously. So then you're more likely to reap thorns and thistles. Invest in the time to harmonize your space and set the vibrations and tones of the bodies, because every thought is a vibration in the body. The body is an instrument, so we want to really tune it in to play our most ideal tune. So, ways that we can harmonize the body before we enter manifestation meditation: breathing exercise that really sets the brain waves to an ideal frequency, especially to reach into the visualization and get above the language. You might want to take a deep relaxing bath. Yeah? Open the circulatory vessels of the body, let energy flow. It's all about entering the parasympathetic state of the body, of the system. Yeah? So you can restore light within the body. Yeah? You want to be in that relaxed mindset, whether it's yoga beforehand, whether it's incense you bring into your space, whatever it is, to harmonize your space and to quiet the noise, so that then you can just focus on the picture and your intention. That will have profound effects on the frequency of your manifestation, how quick, how soon you're able to pull something into the reality. As within, so without. So the state of your inner being will always be reflected externally. We spend a hell of a lot of time in life investing in practices that do not invest in ourselves. So if we are to really take seriously and know the power of our manifestation potential, it's worth investing the time in the preparation. If you spend an hour a day in preparation in order to achieve your desired way of life, then that's better. You do that for 2 or 3 or 4 weeks than spend 40 years on a plantation type environment. So toil the soil before planting the seed. This is about generating the feeling of attainment and achievement. You've got to know that whatever you desire is already yours. So now we're going into the imaginary field again, the visualization. But you're doing this from a place of feeling. This is part of the transmutation process. It's going from the visionary mind, the picture, and we're going to transmute this into a biochemical field, something that's become realer. So you need to imagine that you have already attained whatever it is that you are desiring. How do you feel when you have that house? Yeah. What is the excitement? that naturally generates within you when you achieve one of your goals? How does it feel? How does it smell? How does it taste? Once you can generate those feelings within, you've already manifested within. This is one of the keys and one of the powers to unlocking the real true potential of your manifestation power. Again, as within, so without. So once you are experiencing it at that level, once you've transmuted in the process from mind to body, now all that is left is the physical form of the transformation. And it will come a lot easier and a lot quicker once you can connect the mind to the body. All that's left is the birth of your idea or creation. So whatever it takes for you, practice generating feelings, practice generating harmony within yourself. You dedicate your time to that practice, you'll be a lot more successful in achieving your goals. It is the feeling within that inspires the experience without. We're talking about an imperience over an experience. An imperience is an internal experience. So once you have created that, once you have experienced that within, now you have just raised your field, you've raised your frequency. Your electromagnetic aura is now tuned in. So now the magnetism is pulling whatever it is to you faster and closer. And the repelling pole of the magnet is pushing away anything that is blocking that from entering your world. And it's that we have to know, and it's that we must practice. Once you feel it, you've already achieved it. Once you've created that clear picture with clarity and detail, once you've planted the seed, once you've set the scene and the environment, all that's left is for manifestation and growth to occur. So now you want to get out of the way, because we can be our own blockages. What I mean by this is, don't keep revisiting that ground. Trust in the elemental forces to nurture the seed of your idea or your desire. This is promised. The way we slow down the process is if we keep thinking about it, because if those thoughts are not identical to the visions and thoughts that we planted initially, all we're doing is confusing the picture. So now if something was already on its way to you, but you've just distorted that vision or that thought, now you've changed it. Now that clear picture is no longer on the way. It has to transform into another picture. And there's so many different mechanisms that is in orchestration in the divinity of bringing forth your manifestation, that any kind of alteration to it changes everything, changes the pathway and the journey that it's coming to you. So trust has a lot to do with this. Plant the seed, ping it out there, and get out of the way. Don't keep trying to overthink it, because often, especially when we're thinking about things, we invite doubt, negativity, fear, or anxiety, or what if, or hows. Yeah, get out of the hows. Just know that it's coming and allow that to happen. Now we're talking about the experience as opposed to the imperience. So when we say action, we're talking about the practical form. How are you acting in your daily life? You've already planted the seed and you've already agreed with yourself that this desire is on its way to you. So now you need to act like you already have it. So you already experienced the feelings within, but now how are your actions speaking for that will, for that seed? Go and visit the houses that you think you can't afford, because that's your dream home. Window shop, visit the car lot. Talk as if you already had it, because action begins in the mind, actually. Karma means action. So even your thoughts are a form of action. And it's actually the quietest actions that speak the loudest to your being. So when you're speaking about things aloud, don't talk about what you want. Talk about what you're getting, what you're going to get, and be bold. Don't limit yourself through speech or action to small attainments. It's good for the practice because it can develop trust. But once you know and trust in your manifestation power, act like a God. You see, if we're all here in the illusion of God, that means we are all acting out expressions of God. So this whole theater of illusion is an act. So just act like God. We spend a lot of time doubting ourselves, not trusting in ourselves. In the course of action of things, if you spend just a bit of time acting like you trust and believe in yourself, and then see what comes back from that, you can develop another pathway to attainment. Act as if you are it, act as if you have it. The action is key. So a concurrent theme of the keys to manifestation is trust. Trust is harder to attain or generate within us than we feel it actually should be, because we've developed this kind of cycle within our psyche of mistrusting ourselves. Because we generate so much doubt and fears, we're taught this in the reality, it's hard to actually trust. Because trust is part of a feedback loop. So when we have doubts, when we have fears, suspicions or anxieties about things, we experience enough of that in the reality for us to trust the doubt. So we get looped in this cycle. It becomes familiar. It becomes regular, it becomes normal. So what we need to do is shift our whole mindset and consciousness into another paradigm of trust. We need to apply ultimate trust, and that's a practice. But if we can dare to fear or dare to doubt, then how dare we not dare to trust? And once we start experiencing the feedback of the trust that we put out there, that gives us more motivation to trust in the trust. But we have to shift the consciousness. We have to be bold, be brave, to trust. Why spend a lifetime doubting? Trust in God, trust in yourself. We need trust in order to act. We need trust in order to feel. We need trust in order to plant. Trust is like the gel that holds and molds it all together. Yeah, we trust in the source. The source is that kind of addition to the banquet of life that makes it all tasteful. Yeah, that makes it nutritious. You are already you. You can trust in that. You are it. Whatever it is you desire or want to be, you are the living proof of it. So that we can trust in. So now it's just about trusting in yourself and trusting in your power and trusting in trust. So this is the art of knowing what you actually require over what it is that you want. What you require in relation to your purpose. Now, we would suggest that when you're planting seeds of desires and manifestation, you know what you truly require to serve your path and purpose. Be mindful of what you are luring into your world and your life, because it all will rest on your conscience and your subconscious. So if you're desiring the diamond ring, what is the purpose of that? Is that coming from a place of ego, of materialism? Because once you get that diamond ring, if that's a blood diamond, for example, then you have blood on your hands. Everything goes onto the tab that you accumulate through life. And this is the notion of karma. Just because you did not see the process in which things come to you or appear on your table does not mean you're not responsible for the process. Ignorance is no excuse in law, they say. So we would suggest that once you know the power, potential of manifestation, because you will then become bestowed with responsibility, which is a beautiful position and a beautiful power to hold. But then be mindful that the more you know, the less you get away with. Only chase what's required for you. That should be in relation to your purpose and your path. In order to really know and realize your purpose, first you must know and realize yourself, who you are and what you are. So in this whole process, there's an uncovering. But this is okay, because once you know the true power in your manifestation potential, it's worth the taking the time for preparation. This is like another layer of preparing the soil or toiling the soil. You want to uncover all the layers and all the sheets and the veils to who you truly are beneath the influences and perceptions that we've been installed with or programmed with. Once you do that and you reconnect with yourself at your true essence, now you will start to realize your purpose once more. Remember what you're here for. Then you will realize all the tools and mechanisms that you require to fulfill your purpose. And this is truly what you want to use the art of manifestation for, because if you desire 1,000,000 gold rings, that's all well and good, but if that leads you down a path, and then once you're far down that path you realize who you are, you're going to have to walk back along that path to center to then redirect yourself or navigate yourself along your true path, your true calling. It's not to say that we can't desire true nice things, because we're entitled to wonderful and nice things. But know what you're doing, know what you are doing it for, and know what you are acquiring things for. If you're a king, get your gold because it adorns you and it's conductive. But just know what you're doing and be mindful in your manifestation.